Welcome back to Dragon Army Books. My name is Dustin, and time travel is fun. Time travel is a lot of fun. And author Jodi Taylor has written an entire series based around time travel. But don't call it time travel because that is highly disrespectful to the staff and crew of St. Mary's. What is St. Mary's, you ask? Well, St. Mary's is an undercover organization that investigates major historical events in contemporary time. What that means is that they go back, maybe even travel back in time to witness major historical events, to not interfere, to not interact, definitely not to mess it up. It's already happened, but just to observe. But often these individuals do get involved time and time again, and they do so with dramatic flair. Too few people know about this series. In fact, I've never heard other booktubers talking about it. So I wanted to dedicate an entire video to sharing with you 10 reasons why you should pick up and read the series Chronicles of St. Mary's. Number one, it's an absolutely hilarious series. While there are many dramatic moments throughout the series, it's filled with humor. The author is very quick and witty, but that shines through on almost every single page and within many of the characters within the series. It's British humor to a T. In fact, I would probably equate some of this humor to the humor that's found in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's that funny. Number two, it is the perfect genre. What I mean by that is that it is science fiction. It is about time travel, but not only. It really blends some of the best qualities in a multitude of genres. So it is certainly science fiction, but it is also fantasy, but it is also historical fiction as well. And then there is the drama and the romance as well. It's all of those things and more. It does an incredible blend of all of the bests of those categories. So if you are not necessarily a science fiction fan, don't worry. It doesn't go hard sci-fi at all. If you aren't a huge fantasy fan, okay, well, you'll have some fantastical elements, but it doesn't go too heavily there either. Same with romance and drama. It doesn't do too much in any of those categories, but it does just enough in all of them to be a perfect blend of genres. Number three, this series is both lengthy and ongoing. There are currently 11 books in the core series, and then there are some like 20 novellas, short stories that accompany the main books as well. And that might seem overwhelming at first, like there's too much content to try to get into, but this is not like some kind of epic fantasy series that has 10, 12, 15, 20 books that will take you years to get through. These books are relatively short, falling in between 400 to 500 pages, and then the novellas and the short stories, they of course are on the smaller size as well. So there is plenty to read so that you'll have enough for the months and maybe year plus to come, but the series is not yet complete, so you can always get caught up and then you'll always have more to read. The number four reason that you should read the Chronicles of St. Mary's is that we've just got a speedy author on our hands. I said that there's 11 core books, 20 novellas and short stories. This series began in 2013, and pretty much what Jodi tries to do is release a core book every year with a novella around Christmas time. That's kind of what it's been in the past couple of years. Within that, she'll also put out like a blog post that is also a story that falls in line here, or even another short story or novella if she feels inspired. In fact, most recently, she wrote a little short story about a toilet paper crisis that happens in her world, and it kind of mirrors what is going on in our world when she was writing it, but it inspired her to write something in her character's world as well. We share a common world, of course, but she is always putting out content, so you don't have to wait for a long time before you get a new entry in the series. Number five, there is impeccable character development in this series. And I guess you can do that when you have so many books in the series, but Jodi has done a really good job of drawing out these characters and really making you feel attached to the cast that is here. There is a central group of characters within Chronicles of St. Mary's that works there that center around our lead character. So you are probably going to primarily care about 3, 4, maybe 5 of the characters, but there is an incredible supporting cast around the lead character as well. Number 6 is just an extension to number 5. We have an amazing lead character in the series with Dr. Madeline Maxwell. She just goes by the name Max. When the series starts, I believe she's in her early to mid 20s, but of course that her age and maturity to some degree advances over the years and as the story progresses as well. She is a short redhead woman who at the beginning is kind of finding her way and her purpose and what she's supposed to do with her life and all of those things, but throughout the series, man, she really develops as the series develops, and she is a strong, independent, confident, quirky, and hilarious lead character that you really feel connected to as the series evolves. Number 7 is that this series was written by a historian. Now, whether or not Jodi Taylor actually has the academic credentials to back up that title, I do not entirely know. But what I do know from reading her books with a Wikipedia article up on my phone is that she really does her research. She knows what she's talking about, and she is passionate about the subject matter. Our characters go to so many different places throughout history in major milestone moments that some that you'll know of and be familiar with. Okay, Julius Caesar's assassination. That's one moment, but there are plenty of other moments that you won't know about, but you'll still be equally fascinated by. So you'll, again, like me, want to pull up Wikipedia and follow along with some of the facts that we do know, or historical findings and data that we do know and have discovered. And Jodi does an incredible job staying true to some of those major historical moments. So, like, for example, if Julius Caesar died in history and we know him to have died and been assassinated, well, she stays true to that, but the behind the scenes is going to be very different because how our characters get wrapped up in the narrative. She doesn't ever change the end result of history as we know it, but she does change some of the motives and the reasonings behind it. Some of the things that might not be in the textbooks, she fills in with a lot of incredible detail and again, hilarious moments from our cast of characters. So if you like history or are fascinated by any kind of major historical events, then that is another reason why you would really like the story that she tells here. Number 8 is a quick one, but the audiobook presentation is done exceptionally well. Zara Ram, from the first book until the last, along with those novellas that come out around Christmas time, are pretty much voiced by her. Now, I think there is an original voicing by the author, Jodi Taylor, of the very first book. My understanding is that Zara Ram went back and re-recorded that one as well. And then I think there's another novella in there that was voiced by a man. But the majority of them are voiced perfectly by Zara Ram, and they're done so well. So whether or not you like audiobooks, I would encourage you to try out the audiobook versions of this series because they are done remarkably well with all of the quirk and charm that our lead character Max has in the book. It's displayed audibly through Zara Ram's performance. Number 9 is that the entire series has wonderfully unique and appropriate titles for the books. Let me give you just a few of them, and then you can do some searching on your own to find out some of the other fun, quirky titles. So the very first one is called Just One Damned Thing After Another. Another book is called What Could Possibly Go Wrong? Another is Lies, Damned Lies, and History. And then 2 books back to back. I don't remember if it's 8 and 9 or books 9 and 10, maybe even 10 and 11, something like that. But one of them is Hope for the Best, and the next one is Plan for the Worst. It's really funny. And then there's a lot of short stories that there's one that's called Markham, which is one of the characters, Markham, and the anal probing. So I wouldn't typically say that on my channel, but that shows the uniqueness of the titles. And then last but not least, number 10, there is a fun spin-off series that Jodi Taylor has just recently started writing and releasing that goes in line with this series. So again, with Chronicles of St. Mary's, we are following the team at St. Mary's. Well, there is another team that is somewhat unfriendly with our friends at St. Mary's, and they are a part of the Time Police. Well, that is the new series. It's called the Time Police, and it follows a new cast of characters with some connecting characters and connecting story and plot threads from the Time Police, who are policing time and making sure that it's not being mishandled or mistreated or misused. And I thought it would just be some, I don't know, candy to go along with the core series, Chronicles of St. Mary's. And I even thought that after reading the first book, but now 2 books have been released in the Time Police series. I just finished the second one, and it is one of the best books in these 2 series that I have read, and it's completely standalone from Chronicles of St. Mary's. Although they do have a lot of Easter eggs, it's its own thing, and it's done remarkably well. Still voiced by Zara Ram, but an incredibly exciting brand new second series that is doing some things on its own that you might be interested in as well. Those are just 10 reasons why the Chronicles of St. Mary's is a great series that you need to get into. There are many other reasons. If you have read this series, can we please talk about it below in the comments? Because again, I've found so few people that have read any of these books, much less all 11 of the core books with the 20 other books that I have read. But let's talk about them in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch and like this video. If you haven't yet, click subscribe and join the Dragon Army, and we'll see you in the next one.